Hi everybody, it's Richard McMahon again from howtobecome.com, and in this video, the second video in a series of 3, we're going to talk about the Police Officer Competency Values Framework, and in particular we're going to cover the clusters that I briefly mentioned in the first video. So during the first training video, I talked about the police core values and how they are interlinked with the core values and the core competencies. In this video, I'm going to quickly talk about the clusters, and then once we finish this, I'll do a separate video and give you the link to it below this video that takes you to the core competencies. So we have the police values, okay, very important, that we've already discussed first of all. So we've got the police values, we've got the clusters, and then we also have the 6 core competencies. So these clusters are essentially a group of core behaviours, okay, hence the word cluster, which relate to the way a police officer should conduct themselves. So there are 3 clusters in total, and underneath each cluster there's 2 core competencies, which again I'm going to cover in another video. So in total there's 6 competencies. It sounds confusing. Don't get too concerned about the different words, and also when I talk about the clusters in a second, there's quite some comprehensive wording used by the police, which is important. Okay, it is important, but what I don't want you to do is to get too concerned and nervous about it. Yeah, you have to practice as much as possible in preparation for the police officer selection process, but we're here to help you. And on that basis, I'll tell you during the video where to get a copy of this document and also where you can get additional resources to help you prepare fully. So just to recap, there's 3 clusters in total, and underneath each cluster there's 2 competencies, so that gives 6 core competencies in total. So let's take a look at the 3 different clusters. The first one, and take a note of these, is resolute, compassionate and committed. So this cluster effectively relates to the way in which you conduct yourself as a police employee. So if you think about those terms and what they mean and how they relate to other vital personal qualities, for example, being compassionate means showing empathy for other people and also demonstrating a high level of care and understanding for those people around you. So once you learn to understand why people behave in the way that they do, and you will get to learn that as a police officer, you will be better equipped to understand the individual needs of different members of the public, and you'll be better placed to provide support. So it's about resolute, compassionate and also being committed. So obviously the better you can do this, the better it will reflect on the police as a whole. And in the first video I talked a lot about being an effective role model, and this is all interlinked to that. Now this cluster has core competencies sat underneath it, and these are emotional awareness and also taking ownership. So that's the first cluster of resolute, compassionate and committed, and underneath that you have the 2 core competencies of emotional awareness and taking ownership. Like I said, I'll cover these core competencies in a separate one, so don't worry too much about them at the minute. So the second cluster is inclusive, enabling and visionary leadership. Okay, so inclusive, enabling and visionary leadership. So as you can imagine, leadership is really important for any police employee to have. It's not just about a member of the public who holds a position such as a sergeant, inspector, chief inspector, etc. You can still have leadership qualities as a police officer. So the men and women who operate in the call centre, they also need to have leadership skills. Okay, so it's really important that you understand it, and it's not a case of, well, I'm a grassroots police officer, I don't need to be a leader. You do need to be a leader and have vision and also be inclusive and enabling. So I'll talk about those as we go on. So all police employees must be able to motivate and encourage other colleagues and also members of the public, and also speak out to help those around them. So that's what inclusive means. It means being able to motivate and encourage your colleagues, and also to look after members of the public and to speak out to help people around you. So that's what the word inclusive means. Helping others and everyone, getting involved, and not just a select group of people. It's about everybody. So this cluster links with the 2 core competencies of being collaborative and deliver, support and inspire. Okay, which again sounds confusing, but don't worry about it too much at this stage. So being collaborative and deliver, support and inspire. So that's 2 of the clusters covered. We've only got 1 more to go, and it's a really important one, which is that of being intelligent, creative and informed policing. So if you think about it, being intelligent, you will have to be analytical, when you're coming across certain incidents, how do you solve the problems? You have to use creative thinking. You might need to work with other stakeholders to achieve the desired outcome. But also with regard to informed policing. What is informed policing? Well, it's not just about making decisions without fact. You have to do digging around, you have to do your research to find out all of the facts and the analytics that will help you to come up with a creative solution. So the cluster again is intelligent, creative and informed policing. So this cluster is about being open to new ways of learning and development to ensure that you're working to your maximum capacity. So continuous professional development, continuous improvement are very important keywords and phrases as part of the role of a police officer. You have to ensure that you're working to your maximum capacity, and you can't do that by sitting still. You have to continually improve, and you might need to work with other people to do that. You must be able to think analytically and form creative solutions to problems. So being informed means that you take every available factor into account before you make a decision. So how can I put that in simple terms? Let's say you're based at a police station and there's been an increase in the number of deliberate car fires that are happening in an area. How do you solve that problem? How do you get to the bottom of it, and why is it happening? Well, you would need to work with other stakeholders. For example, you'd need to work with the fire service, you'd need to work with CCTV organisations, etc. And that's about being informed as a police officer, and also being creative and using your intelligence to solve the problem. So that cluster links in with the core competencies of analysing critically and being innovative and open-minded. So that's the three clusters. Just to quickly cover them again: resolute, compassionate and committed, inclusive, enabling and visionary leadership, and also intelligent, creative and informed policing. So click the link below the video to get a copy of this document which we've put together to help you be fully prepared for the selection process. Make sure that you check to see whether the police service you're applying to join is implementing this new police competency values framework, because it will take some of them a bit of time to come through. And also below the video there's a link where you can get an important book and a manual that will help you prepare fully for the police selection process and put you ahead of the competition. I hope you've enjoyed that video. There's also one more in the series, which is the 6 core competencies that I'm going to cover. Please give the video a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it, and it will motivate me to do some more videos for you. Subscribe to our channel, again, by clicking the link below the video. And if you have any questions whatsoever about these values, the clusters or the core competencies, put your question in the comments box below the video and I'll be happy to answer them for you. Thank you very much for watching.